Your new video shows the moment a passenger jet, speaking of New York, crashed into a fire truck at New York's LaGuardia airport overnight. Right there. You just say, this is something you very rarely see. The Port Authority fire rescue vehicle was on its way to respond to a separate issue involving another flight. It crossed the runway just as that Air Canada flight was at the end of its landing coming in, and you can imagine the force that plane hit that fire truck with. So the pilot and co-pilot were killed in the incident. 41 other people were injured.
So we want to bring in meteorologist Chris Dunn, who is also a pilot. That Air Canada plane, it was traveling at least 90 miles an hour, and apparently air traffic control gave that emergency vehicle the all clear. And, you know, you kind of wonder, you know, was air traffic control staffed? Maybe it wasn't, you know, not enough, but apparently it was fully staffed. What do you think happened?
Well, it's my understanding that there was one controller handling ground and tower control of the airport at that time, which is typical during a lull, which it was late at night. Rarely do we have aviation crashes that is just one factor. So we're going to look at staffing issues. We're going to look at weather, because it looked like the ground was wet there. It had been raining. And also, you know, the fact that it was late at night. Lights reflecting off of the wet ground, that can cause a little bit of confusion. There was the clearance that the tower controller said, go ahead and cross runway 4. The previous jet, the Jazz jet or the Air Canada Express jet, had already been given clearance to land on runway 4. And I think at about the time that the tower controller realized, no, wait, stop. And by that time, it was just a little bit too late.
You think the same person gave the okay for Air Canada to land and for that fire truck to cross, or was it possibly two people that weren't communicating?
It's not clear at this point.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, well, and you know, you can be overwhelmed at a job, and you're trying to keep track of that other incident that was going on the other side of the airport.
Right, because that was an emergency happening, and that's why the vehicle was trying to get to that emergency. Right,
and then there's also the question of why would the vehicle cross a runway if there's a jet coming right at them? But the angle at which it wasn't perpendicular, so it's not like the fire truck could look down the runway and say, oh, there was a jet. They were kind of coming at an angle at about the same direction the jet was traveling. So they were given clearance to cross the runway. They thought, okay, rather than turn the truck around to see if it was really truly clear, they went ahead thinking that it was okay, but obviously it was not.
And you would think those firefighters have to be trained, you know, over and over and over again about looking for planes as well. So you're right, multiple failures had to happen for this to go through.